So IB is a holistic program. It affects everything that we do in our school day, in our classroom, in our interactions with students. It really focuses on the whole child. It focuses on bringing in different perspectives and having a school structure that allows for that and supports that.
The nature or the philosophy of the MYP being a constructivist concept-based philosophy really speaks to our goals around equity because it is all student-centered.
The great thing about IB is that it all goes back to best practice. Their philosophy for the middle years program really emphasizes best practice in teaching strategies. So that leads to high levels of student engagement in our classrooms. And in terms of what we're trying to do with our district vision, it really is about providing students with not only a positive learning environment, but also focusing on the whole child, making sure that there's equity through student engagement. And a lot of what's happened really comes back to teachers taking an approach that really places a lot of expectation on students for their learning. A big part of IB is the learner profile. So when we implemented IB years ago, we spent a lot of time focusing on those 10 attributes that we want our students to develop while they're with us during their middle school years.
And I think it impacts what happens in the classroom. Kids are working in small groups. Some might be working independently. You might find where you're doing whole class instruction, but it really drives the way kids are learning together and with each other. And the technology that we now have has also been supporting that idea that they can be inquirers, they can gain knowledge and information in a multitude of ways.
I like that IB engages us in our learning. Like, if we were to do a project where we were building something, it lets us, like, get a different approach on it. Like, it gives us different points of view from different cultures about, like, what they would do.
Well, I like that it teaches us what the real world's going to be like, so we apply what we learn to the real world, which is, like, helpful because, like, it just helps us learn. And it makes learning more real.
I think the thing that I like best about Ivy is how it makes, there's so many like group projects and options to interact with other kids and people. Like, I love like group projects and getting to communicate and talk to my peers, I guess.
So it's all about getting students engaged in the learning, and the way that we do that is through bringing in the outside world. So if we can make learning more meaningful for students, they're going to engage more with it. If we can provide students with relevance, the why of learning, they're going to want to participate in the learning more.
IB program has allowed students to make really strong connections between what they're learning and real life application, specifically in social action. That's the piece that has excited me the most as a humanities teacher, seeing my students really take an interest into what's happening in the community and how to solve the problems if there are any.
How am I going to use this? How is this applied in the world? Sometimes kids don't get that at school, especially at middle school. They get it more in high school. So I like the fact that kids are being introduced to that early on, and it's just going to expand their knowledge as they go through their education.
They see themselves mirrored in the content. And by doing that, we reach more students. We reach students that have traditionally not had success in school, students that might have felt marginalized, students that are on the outside looking in. Now they're brought from margin to center. And that can't be a bad thing. That might be the very best of things.
Oak Park is a diverse community that really values diversity and celebrates diversity. And here's a framework that celebrates diversity and celebrates risk-taking and celebrates community. So I think it melds really well with the values of the community. I think it brings us together as a school community, as a middle school district. So Julian and Brooks, I think it helps us align a lot of our values, and it really reflects the core values of what I think the core values of Oak Park are.